You all right? Should have audio now. And let's see if I can get the system to work. Great. All right, hello and welcome, friends, to another episode of TalkPowerBI. Glad to be here, hanging out with you on my Friday morning. And today is maybe an exclusive. Maybe this is a first. This is going to be a behind-the-scenes look in a business. But before that, I do want to say hello to everybody who's on. So let me know, where are you joining us from? This is Avi. I'm in Seattle, back in US for a few weeks now, I guess. And I see Murli is here, Pramod is here, Matthias is always here. Matthias, always good to see you. Matthias is also from Germany. Robert is here, and he's going to be keeping an eye on the chat, queuing up your questions, helping me out. So yeah, be nice to him. Richard says hello. Yeah, Richard, I'm glad to be back as well. Bit of a break while I was in India, focusing on family, fun. Matthew says hi from Canada. Oh, no sound. Oh, okay, cool. Now I think there's sound. Renee says hello from Kentucky. Javed is here. Ty saying sound okay now. All right, great, folks. So let's kick it off. Let me see. Yeah, this is looking good. Awesome. So, folks, yeah, this might be a first. And it's odd because I want to do so much more of this. And yeah, because frankly, I've admired the people that I looked up to, other entrepreneurs, business folks, solopreneur, as I like to call myself. And I always loved it. I always ate it up when they showed me kind of behind the scenes, like how do they do it? How do they come up with it? You know, and the highs and lows, the good and the bad, just come clean. So that's my goal. That's my goal for today and going forward, I suppose. So I think I've been doing that a little bit on LinkedIn. I've been sharing kind of my life, behind the scenes, that sort of stuff. And again, I do want to kind of dive into my business. I want to show you that you don't need a YouTube studio to get started. I mean, for heaven's sake, I work in my bedroom. I'll show you all of that stuff is coming. So for if you love that kind of stuff, and well, if you're here, then I guess you do, then follow me on LinkedIn as well, because I promise to share kind of more raw behind the scenes looks there. But what is today's session about? So we're going to focus on one of our programs, Real Power BI. Now that's very relevant because we're launching Real Power BI next week. If you need more information, you can go to realpowerbi.com. We'll talk about all that. But again, from the behind the scenes perspective, this is what I thought. I'm going to give you the current look, just the way the program is structured right now. But then I'll start to peel back the covers and I'll talk about the evolution, specifically the current evolution. And that's the great part about teaching and sharing others. You get to kind of document it for yourself too. And yeah, so yeah, you know, this is great. I know I'm gonna enjoy it quite a bit. So that's the evolution. And then lastly, again, I want to share the good and bad, all of that stuff. So I'll talk about all the problems, big and small, everything that we have dealt with, that we are still dealing with. Cool. So let's get started. And I just want to say hello to Shannon, Mindy, and Maria. Maria's here from Peru. All right, folks. So let's give you a look at Real Power BI. So let's look at the program as it stands right now. And again, then I'll take you through the evolution and then we'll talk about all the problems I've seen. And if anything, if there's one thing that I inspire you to do is to take imperfect action. And that is one of the biggest roadblocks that I see, if not the biggest. So again, my goal is to have you leverage your Power BI skills so you can become Power BI professionals, whether that be as consultants or that be as business leaders inside your company. But one of the things that I see is that people stay stuck in that mode. They wait till they feel confident, that they don't feel afraid, they don't, right? And they feel like they know everything. And it just doesn't work that way. It definitely doesn't work that way. So so at its core, real Power BI is really simple. What it does is it matches businesses who need Power BI help with Power BI professionals inside our Power BI consultant program, right? So we definitely see this as a win-win. So that's the premise. But then so again, we're going to do the current look, then I'm going to talk about the evolution. So this is how, if you go to realpowerbi.com, this is what you're going to see right now. Now this is part of the evolution. I will talk about that. We've gone through different focus, and what we realized was when we looked at the past projects, the best results were gotten either when we were working, either when the business leader was involved, or at least we had their approval and get go. So we feel that's where we see have been our biggest projects, big impact. So yeah, we want to focus on that. So business leaders, and we're trying to catch them if somebody who's kind of stuck getting started with Power BI. If you're in an organization which has been doing Power BI for many years, yeah, this is definitely not for you, right? So there, and then we go into this. It's not easy being a business leader and leading a team organization. Now we know, and you know, that you can create a tremendous impact by adopting Power BI, but it can also be a lot of wasted time and effort, little to show for results. And of course, in last week's Talk Power BI, Charles and I had a pretty deep discussion on this, that where things can go wrong. And that's an unfortunate reality because, again, I mean, Power BI is just a tool. It's not a magic wand. You can just wave it and everything is fixed. Well, it's how you leverage the tool, right? So think about if you have a hammer, I mean, somebody can use that to build a house. They'll probably need more tools, or somebody can, yeah, well, like me, I'm not much good with a hammer. So you get the idea, right? And then you say, hey, it can be hard traveling alone because, again, we have worked with these folks. We know what are they struggling with, and this is what we see them struggling with. For one, they're juggling a lot of their daily stuff. I mean, they have their day job, and often they have a team and that sort of stuff, right? And they're trying to juggle that and trying to figure out Power BI. And it just goes on as a side project. And that's what we want to question. That, hey, if you really want mainstream results with Power BI, you can't keep treating it as a side project, which you do for a few hours every day or every week or every month. Or sometimes, you put it on the shelf for a few months and then forget about it and come back 6 months, 1 year later. It just doesn't work. If you want mainstream breakthrough results, you cannot treat it as a side project. Now, I'm just going to pause here and pop out for a little bit and say that if you realize some of these things apply whether you're trying to do a Power BI project or you're trying to progress in your career as well. Yeah, it's kind of odd. I just noticed it that there's so much similarity, right? I mean, learning Power BI, people keep that as a side project. And it's like, well, yeah. And of course, the last part is, yeah, I mean, gosh, how much is it going to cost you in terms of time, effort? Not just what you spend, but what you spend to backtrack. And not just that, but like the opportunities that you miss out because things were not in place and so forth. So I think there is definitely a true cost there. So that's the premise. That sets them up. And again, you're going to see in the evolution when I talk about that, you're going to contrast this with our earlier approach. And then, of course, we go into the program. We say, well, then, how about give you some free help? Now, free, there's an asterisk here. And I'm going to talk in detail about that in big and small problems. Free is actually a problem. And, well, yeah, I'll come clean when we get to that, get to talk about problems that we see. So get free help from a Power BI professional. Great. And this is what we do. We're going to connect you with the top professional who's going to guide you in selecting and scoping projects. And I mean this, and of course, Charles and I discussed this in last week's Talk PowerBI, is that a lot of leaders get this wrong. And then they're going to work with you based on best practices, right? So you're not hunting around, trying out things and so forth. You have somebody to guide you. And yeah, you get something. So this is what I call the shining beacon project. And you can tell you have a shining beacon project based on the reaction that people, that it has when you show it to people. And a classic one is, whoa, how did you do that, right? And there's another one which we talked about, and yeah, then you nailed it. And how much value is this going to be? And the interesting thing is that these business leaders who are trying to kind of spread Power BI within the company. By the way, leader has nothing to do with the title or a rank, right? So it's about stepping up, right? So we also use another term. We call them Power BI pioneers, which they are. They're actually sometimes up against a lot of other challenges, which we don't mention here because, well, yeah, they're kind of second level challenges, which is they're also fighting a lot of resistance within the organization. You know what? I don't know. Maybe we should talk about that on this page. I don't know. We'll see. So they're fighting a lot of resistance due to a lot of different reasons. For classic one being, people are just resistant to change, even if it's better for them, right? So we know that once you get a Shining Beacon project, then it becomes so easy because you get people who are gonna go to bat for you, who are gonna advocate for you, who are gonna be in your corner, all of that stuff, right? So you win some super fans inside the company. So this is big. This is big, right? So there, and then of course we kind of said, hey, this is what past participants have said. And this is one part which we are really working to upgrade and showcase in a beautiful way because we've had amazing results with Power BI and it's just been unbelievable. We work with companies all over the world and with all different sectors, industries, and so forth. And yeah, so this is only a sneak peek, right? But yeah, you can see, right? I mean, we know like Power BI, it can have tremendous impact. Now, not to say that we haven't had failures, plenty of them. We'll talk about that in the problem section. That's coming up. But yeah, I mean, our reports have everything we need. It's so simple. Why wouldn't you have this in the 21st century? Huge wake-up call, and without this, you're running a business day to day. And it's ironic how many companies, big and small, trust me, I've worked within Microsoft, I know. I mean, you would think that Microsoft would have it all buttoned down. Nope. You get in a meeting and and feel like it's not much different. So depending on which team you're in, it can be they may not be in good shape reporting wise, right? And again, I mean, for a lot of businesses, this could be a life or death decision, right? I mean are you going to survive or not? And of course, we have seen the kind of stresses that can spring up on businesses just out of the blue. I mean, look at the COVID-19 pandemic, right? And again, every new crisis, if you think about it, comes from a new direction, from a new vector. Look at the past crises, so we don't know where the next threat to your business is going to come from. And the best you can do is, be agile, be nimble, have reporting. So anyway, so that's what the past participant had to say. And again, we're working to kind of showcase this more because right now, the best we have is this kind of playlist and it's not great. There's so much goodness in here. We would just want that to be easily accessible. So that's that. And then, of course, we address the asterisk, which, people have been seeing for a while. And so I was going to save this for problems, but I think I need to mention it. So free is a problem. Why is it a problem? Well, actually, it's a good thing and it's a problem. It's both, right? So free is a good thing. It attracts people, but the catch is that what kind of people? Imagine you opened a store and it had a big free sign on it. What kind of people are you going to attract? You're probably not going to attract the people that you want. In the end, you want high quality customers and maybe buying customers, right? So now, of course, we don't make any money off Real Power BI. It is really free, right? And again, because we think it's a win-win. I mean, it's win for both parties. So people in our Power BI consultant program, now they are professionals and they've been working with Power BI for a long time, but some of them are new to consulting or newish to consulting. So this gives them kind of a real consulting project experience, and they of course get to tell the story and so forth, and I'll talk about that. So it's a win for them, and it's a definite win for businesses. You've seen that, right? So But again, free, the word free becomes a problem because it's very loaded. So a lot of things happen. For one, free can attract the wrong audience. That has been a challenge. Another thing can be that it can actually repel people, keep them away, because a lot of people, when they see free, it's like, oh, it's a scam. It's not valuable. It's not worth. I mean, if it's valuable, why would they give it away for free? So yeah, I mean, we have thought about it, and of course, we've thought about making it paid, but for now, it's free. And this is our best effort to kind of explain it. It's like, guys, yeah, it's not a scam, and yeah, it's free. So yep, so we come clean and we say, well, for one, why are we doing this? Well, we do this because again, I'm serving my Power BI consultant community, and yeah, we, again, as I said, this is going to be a win-win. And yeah, these professionals often have extensive experience. They're definitely not new to Power BI, but they may be new to consulting. And that's why we have them go through this experience, which has been amazing. We've had amazing feedback from members as well, amazing results. Now, what's the catch? Well, so for the businesses, it is application based. So there's no guarantee that your application is going to be selected. Now, I'll tell you, if you're a business, I'll tell you what you can do to increase the chances. At times, we've been able to select up to 80% of the submitted projects who were qualified, and I'll talk about that in a second, right? But it's still, application based, and if you're working, you need immediate help on a critical project, well, yeah, just hit the consulting button right here. Actually, this link is wrong. I'm glad I caught it. So I don't think that link works anymore. Oh, it does, but it doesn't take you to the right page. Consulting, we have a new page now. So you can reach out to us there. And the other thing is, it is time-based. So yeah, you can't have us engage with us and have us work on a 6 months projects. That wouldn't be fair. So it is going to be scoped. And that is one thing that we coach our members, Power BI Consultant Group, quite a bit on scoping. Because scoping is key. Power BI is agile BI. And a key way to do agile is you gotta scope it. You can't be this, oh yeah, we want this, we want this, we want that, we want that. No. I mean, we say, well, which one is the most important? If you could have one, what would be it, right? So we're gonna have that conversation with you and try to scope it within something that we can run through end to end, right? So you wouldn't want to spend 4 to 6 weeks just working on the data cleanup. No, that's not the idea. That's not agile BI. Right? We want to go do the data cleanup, pull it in the model, build some measures, build the dashboard, boom, and then maybe iterate 2 or 3 times. That's how much is possible in 4 to 6 weeks. So it's application-based, time-based, and well, I mean, yeah, we can't guarantee your results, but yeah, some projects have had incredible success. So that's, and then some details on how it works and blah, blah, frequently asked questions, all that sort of stuff. Actually, so now let's talk about, let's really go behind the scenes, right? What I talked about, that I'm going to give you, where is my slideshow? There we go. Right, so, oh, by the way, I forgot to share this earlier. So yeah, here are the important links. So realpowerbi.com is from the business focus. So again, we are matching the businesses with the Power BI professionals inside our program. If you want to find out more about either end of those, then go to realpowerbi.com. If you're a business and you want more information about this program. If you want to find out more about our consultant program, then just go to learnpowerbi.com/pro, or I think you can also navigate from the training link up at the top. So yeah, important links, guys. Okay, great. So current look, let's talk about evolution. All right, cool. So let's see. So Matthias is saying Power BI is not only a tool, it is a new way of doing business. But that new way of doing business is all about how you use the tool. I mean, there are companies which are using Power BI the old way. I mean, really, we have heard about Excel hell. I bet you walk into a lot of companies and you're going to see Power BI hell. It's just a version of the same thing. You've heard the saying, the more things change, the more they stay the same. So yeah, I've seen many companies which are caught in the same traps they were caught before. Power BI, no Power BI. But yeah, good comment, Matthias. And hey, I mean, I love it when people do not agree with me. So let me know what all of you think. Yeah. Okay, cool. Is it a tool? Is it more than a tool? All right, cool. So guys, behind the scenes, that's what I promised. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it was before and after, so you can contrast. And now this is only the latest evolution. We've had some missteps in this, and it's certainly embarrassing. But guys, as I said, if you take one thing away from this, that would be imperfect action. Learn to love it. Learn to embrace it. Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, cool. So this is how the page was. So this is the old stuff, right? So this is how it used to be. And you see how it has changed. Actually, I'll move myself out of the way. So earlier it was, oh, business users, get a Power BI business dashboard built for free. Now there are a few problems here. So I will talk about this shift from business users to business leaders, which frankly is the first time I'm trying it. We'll see how it works. And again, being a leader has little to do with the title or rank. Actually, let's talk about that first. Why not? It's at the top. So this one has been tricky. So for one, I think that leadership has little to do with title or rank. It's about stepping up. We have seen, so again, we have a term for these people who are like trying to evangelize and spread Power BI, the goodness of Power BI within their company. We call them Power BI pioneers. And I've met Power BI pioneers who were CEOs and CFOs, but I've also met Power BI pioneers who were working in the call center. They were working in the call center. They started doing Power BI, started doing it for their group. Somebody else heard, they started doing it for them. And boy, it grew like wildfire. And then guess what? The head office called them, flew them out to the headquarters so they could, say, hey, yeah, you heard you've been doing some good stuff with Power BI. Can you share some of that? So that's one aspect. Now, of course, the thing is that that's how I see it, but that's not how others might see it. Somebody who is a true leader, true Power BI pioneer, may see this word and exclude themselves. We realize that risk, and I don't know, we'll see. We'll run this an experiment and see how that goes. But the key has been that the best results that we saw from real Power BI was when either the business leader was involved or it was blessed and approved by that. I mean, we have frankly done some projects where it was kind of on the sly. I was like, oh yeah, don't tell anybody. Nobody knows that I'm working with you guys, and oh, I can't really send you my data. And that's frankly, at one level, that's not respectful, right? I mean, these are Power BI professionals. Their services are frankly worth a lot of money. Try go hiring somebody for Power BI at this skill level, right? So if you hired them on a paid basis, you're not going to treat them this way. You're not going to say, oh, yeah, help me, but I can't share my data with you. It's sensitive. No. You're going to have them sign an NDA and have them work on your project, right? So that's been a little bit of a tricky. So that's one reason why you switch to business leader. And again, I talked about the risk here that we might exclude some people who may not identify with this label. So that's that part. Then look at the other part. Are you stuck getting started with Power BI? So another problem with real Power BI, or frankly, is that I can't do what I tell my students to do. So when our students go through our Power BI consultant program, right? They step through 5 steps. The first one is actually niche. The second is what we call the Pillarstone story. And next, we encourage them to get their first paid client. Then they get their second paid client. And then, this is, by the way, a huge milestone for a lot of members. This is huge because at this point, you've validated for yourself that, hey, I can help others and I can be paid for it. That's a huge, huge moment, huge mindset shift. And guys, if anything, this whole journey is about that mindset shift. It's about that inner journey. It's about getting that belief in yourself. Because imagine, once you get that belief, it's like, yep, I can help others and I can be paid for it. You're unstoppable. Before the step, people are often a little bit unsure. So now we move on to this idea of steady stream of clients, which is of course the holy grail, right? I mean, if you get to that, then you're all set. And the good news is that you don't really need to do anything special for here. You pretty much need to apply whatever you learned from here in a kind of a system, right? So that's that. So if you notice, the first step was niche down. And of course, you've seen examples. Charles Elwood focused on energy, specifically renewable energy. Ian Bowman focused on kind of construction companies, helping them with, kind of management, executive reports, project management, tracking, that sort of stuff. Raul Jimenez focuses on warehouses, right? There's Eric, who's third-party logistics, and oh gosh, Greg Berg, of course, his focus is on coffee industry. Yeah, and just incredible stories. So that's the first step that we say. You got to niche down. But the challenge that I have is that how do I niche down? I have all of these different people. Right? I mean, should I just run one for like coffee companies? I don't know, right? So that's a problem. That's a challenge. I can't niche down, but we can do something. So of course we're targeting kind of business leaders and so forth. But the other part is the big problem here is that this one, notice it starts with a solution. Now that is a classic mistake that that's a classic mistake. I was trying to do. I don't know what I'm trying to do. That's a classic mistake for anybody, including Power BI professionals. And so if you're talking to a business, we often start talking either about us, which is really bad. It's like, ooh, I'm Avi and I'm so smart and I've done this and I've done that. They don't really care, right? I mean, sometimes people throw credentials like, I don't know, PMP, whatever, right? They don't really care about that, right? So we either talk about ourselves or we talk about the solutions. So, oh yeah, I built Power BI dashboards. You got to meet them kind of where they are mentally, and often people are stuck in the problem, right? So I think this is a good change. I think this is a great change. We'll see. Of course, we'll test it out. But in general, yeah, it's always better to start with a problem than with a solution when you're talking to anybody, potential client. And this could be internal clients. So guys, a lot of this applies equally whether you're a consultant or an employee. So start with the problem. So again, I can't niche down too much. If I could, then I could get very, very specific. It's like, oh, if you're in the, for example, Eamon Kelly, he focuses on finances, but for the resources, kind of like the mining industry and such. And one challenge that he sees these guys facing, the biggest challenge they're facing, is that, well, mining industry, you can imagine, they don't have the latest tech and the latest software. Often they are stuck in very outdated tools. So that's what he leads with. Hey, are you in the mining industry and you're stuck with these arcane tools where you can't get the data out and it's so hard, it's like pulling fingernails, and then you, even if you spend a lot of time and effort, it's hard to make sense, it's hard to combine data from all of these weird systems that you have. So that's going to resonate so much with them. They're like, oh my God, yeah, that's me. So I can't quite do that on this page. I can't get that specific, but we try our best. So are you stuck getting started with Power BI? And of course, I walked you through this. And we feel like the person that we're looking for, this is going to really resonate with them. Now, how do I know that? Because we came up with this based on the feedback from our Power BI consultant group. And of course, folks, if you think about it, you probably heard me say this. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And pretty much everything that I do now is group-based. So with this Power BI consultant program, it's a group-based program, and we learn from each other. So yeah, I talked to a lot of the members in this program, and we had this discussion like, you tell me, like, what have you seen, and what have you seen, and what have you seen, and there was like a good debate on that. So that's how we came up with that. And the rest, I think, so that I feel good. The rest, I don't think. So yeah, so we gutted a lot of this stuff and so forth, and I'll talk about that maybe really quick. So yeah, as you see, there are a lot of changes here. Some of the sections are the same. So the other part that we changed was that So there's this idea. Actually, I don't know what it's called or who the attribute for that, but the idea is okay, got it. I think it's called adoption curve. Let's actually Google that. Let's see. Adoption curve. Ooh, that's great. I hope there's a nice graph somewhere here. Early adopters. This looks good. Oop, nope, that didn't work. Oh boy. Oh god, that's really small. Oh yeah, that's good enough. Okay, great. So here we have the innovators, right? The early adopters, early majority, late majority, and I think there's another framework which I can't think right now. But what decision stage are they in? Who are we targeting? Are we targeting somebody who's evaluating Power BI? Who's like, is Power BI going to be the right solution? Or they have kind of decided that Power BI is the right solution, but they don't know how to use it. Now that's a key difference. And if you're trying to target one, but your messaging is not focused on them, it doesn't work. So if you think about it, I mean, if you look at the old messaging, this was targeting somebody who was not quite sold on Power BI, who was going, I have these challenges. Like, I mean, I have reports flying everywhere. I wonder what I can do. Gee, right? And then I'm going to them and saying, oh, if you're having these problems, then hey, Power BI is a great solution because Power BI lets you do this, lets you build a business at a glance. It's easy to build, it's easy to maintain. Now, this is not bad messaging, right? I mean, I think it's pretty good. But again, it's not who we were targeting. And again, this came up from the discussion. So we asked our Power BI consultant programs, and who do you get? When we match you with the project, who do you end up talking with? Who are these guys? Where are they kind of mentally, decision-wise? Are they in this state where they're saying, where they're saying, oh, I wonder if, Power BI is the right thing? Well, turns out most of them are not. Almost all of them are sold on Power BI. And they're like, yeah, I know Power BI is like the best thing since sliced bread, right? I just having trouble using it. So again, if you see, man, now I feel embarrassed. I feel truly embarrassed that I was putting this messaging out for 2 years. And hey, it was still working, so I don't want to be too hard on myself. Again, we've had those successes and so forth. But again, guys, I mean, if there's one thing that you can take away from all of this, imperfect action. Imperfect action. Embrace it, love it, live it. All right. Okay. Cool. So I think I've talked enough about evolution. Let's see. So of course you saw some of the problems, but let's talk about. Oh, there's another story which I can't quite fully tell because I didn't capture any screenshots for that. But there was a time when we focused this on small businesses. And we made the whole page about, oh, if you're a small business, and it was such a brilliant idea. I'm like, yeah, we're going to help the small guy. And I believed in it and all that stuff. It was a disaster. It was a bad idea. Because I realized that it was nothing to do with small businesses. Often we do work with the David, not the Goliath, right? So we rarely engage with like IT teams and so forth. Oh yeah, Avi, we're doing a deployment for 10,000 users, and let's talk about the architecture and how we can lock people out from all of that weird stuff. We don't deal with that. So we deal with these business teams, and often these business teams can be a small team inside a very large business. Now, I remember walking into NASA and I was working with a group of finance folks, but I felt right at home because, it was just a small team of finance folks, and frankly, I didn't care. They could have been at NASA, they could have been at any Fortune 500 company, Fortune 50 companies. Who cares, right? I mean, they were still a small team for me. So the small business thing, oh, bad idea. But again, hindsight is 2020. You try it and you learn, right? So and that's the thing about running your own show, running your own business. I mean, you don't have to sit through a post-mortem as we used to have to in Microsoft after a disaster like that. Yeah, you just learn and you just adapt and you just change. So cool. Let's talk about. So I've already talked about so many problems, but let's talk about some of the other ones. So and again, these are going to be open-ended. I'm not going to have an answer to it. And so one of the line that my coach uses is business is the business of solving problems. And what he's trying to say is that if you don't like problems, if you want life all figured out and tied with a bow, don't think about running your own business. Don't think about becoming a consultant, freelancer, solopreneur, entrepreneur, right? You gotta love this process. And I love this process. And in a way, it's kind of fun to live in the question where you don't know the answer because all possibilities are open, right? So I'm not gonna have like the final answer on any of these maybe, but hey, it's behind the scenes, right? So quality versus quantity. So we had a healthy debate on this the last time we met with a group, and we get quite a bit of projects submitted through Real Power BI. And again, if you provide accurate and detailed information and you're responsive when we reach out to you, trust me, your chances are really good. We have been able to match up to 80% of the submitted qualified projects. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Sometimes we just don't hear a response back. So we get quite a few of them, but there was this debate that, hey, do we really need that many? Or what if we just got a few, but they were really high quality ones? Now, of course, the catch there is like, how do you tell that apart? How do you know it from the beginning that it's going to be a high quality project? Well, I don't know. Of course, when we look back, we can kind of spot some of them. But again, hindsight is 2020. I mean, can we reliably do that for new projects? That it's hard to say. So we have focused that on a little bit. We have, we definitely have some kind of roadblocks, and of course, applications get reviewed and so forth. So we focus on what we believe are going to be the high quality projects, but yeah, it's still. I don't know. I mean, we could do something drastic where we could. So charging is, of course, a great way to ensure quality. Generally, the higher you charge, the higher quality of the client you attract. It's kind of weird. Pricing is, by the way, one of those mind-bogglingly bizarre things which it doesn't work the way you think it works. Same as time and money, but that's for another day. So we've had this debate, quality versus quantity. So yeah, we'll see. And the next part is that. This idea, and frankly, I think it's a powerful idea, and the idea is this. The idea is really, really simple. So the idea is that we've been running the consultant program for 2+ years now, and man, it's been a life's blessing for me. I mean, I feel so blessed to be and privileged to be hanging out with these people, and frankly, they teach me more than I ever could. So it's amazing, and of course, that's what I talked about the group program. We learn from each other. The idea is that what if we created a similar community for the business leaders? Oh my God, would that be awesome? I don't know. I have no idea. I think it's going to be awesome. And of course, the best part is, can you imagine the synergy between these two groups? So what's their mission? Now, of course, our mission, we're not like those old school blood-sucking leeches type of consultants, right? Who's going to suck you dry. Come in and now you're like, the leech. So the way we work is we try to empower the business. And we want to train them. We don't want them dependent on us. So that's how we work. Our goal is to, really make these people super duper stars. We want to make them shine. That's what my goal is through this program, right? So that's what their goal is. And of course, these guys, well, they could use some help, right? So I think there could be a lot of synergy in here. And we've already seen that with the. So of course, I'm gonna try to bring up. Greg Baer, that's a great story. So again, this is a relationship that started with the Real Power BI project, but then continued on. And I think it's in, so he talks about his story, his partnership with working with Josh at Clifton Coffee, and how it progressed over time. And man, I mean, this is like a mind-blowingly phenomenal story. They've already been featured by Microsoft, and I think they are coming back and doing like a version 2 of that, like a super feature story or something. So I think there can be great synergies between these two groups. So that's that idea. And originally we had planned to launch this in March this year, but if you know, I was in India for 1.5 months, took a bit of a detour, so now I'm not really sure. We may be able to launch this in June, we may be able to launch this in September. And frankly, some days I totally chicken out. I'm like, what am I doing? And it's such a distraction. And guys, so again, I'll pop out a little bit from the current discussion and go to kind of the higher level and share that. So I talked about how the business is the business of solving problems. And if you don't like problems, don't get into this, right? And one paradox that I see is that the most brilliant idea, which takes a business to the next level, which blows it up, that, right? And of course, you want to do that. You want to go in that direction. And something that's just a distraction. It's bizarre how alike they look. It's bizarre how many times I've thought that it was the next evolution for my company, but it turned out just a distraction. So it is what it is. So I definitely feel the pull towards it. I feel really powerfully towards it. I kind of sense it in my bones. I'm like, man, this can be really powerful. But at the same time, sometimes I totally feel like chickening out. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a bad idea. What am I doing? And again, right? I mean, the fear that pulls me back, the lizard brain, which is trying to protect me, is that status quo, right? So lizard brain wants the status quo, doesn't want any change. It doesn't care. It thinks change is scary and it's dangerous. And right, so it's saying, Avi, I mean, this is working, right? So this is working. This is working. Why the heck would you go do something risky and untested? Why wouldn't you focus on what's working? And so, man, you got to deal with that lizard brain. Now, of course, the challenge in this world is, if you've seen that, man, this world is kind of moving kind of fast. So the challenge becomes that in a world that's moving fast, oddly enough, status quo is the riskiest option by far. Right? So I know how that feels like. I hung out at Washington Mutual, the company that went up in flames around the financial crisis, and I saw it dying. And I always tell my friends that, man, that was like Titanic was going down, and I was just holding on to the handrails real tight, as if that was going to save me. I didn't take any action. I didn't do anything. I just kept holding on tight to it. And of course, well, yeah, it doesn't help, right? So if things are changing around you, then, man, status quo, if you don't change with it, that can be the riskiest path. That can be the riskiest state. So the wise part of me, the sage part of me sees that. But again, like anybody else, I struggle with a lizard brain who wants to keep me locked into where I am, thinking that it's safe, but it's not, right? So cool. So let's come back. So community of business leaders, that's a plan. The next part is free. Again, I talked about this. We have struggled with this kind of language that. So of course, one decision is, do we use the language free or not? Right. So we can pull out all the language for free. We might attract fewer number of people, but again, maybe that'll give us quality versus quantity. We're not going to get people who are just looking for a free project, right? I mean, we're going to get people who really believe in our message. It's like, yeah, I want to do something. And again, right, what if we attract the Power BI pioneers? So that's one option. And another option is, of course, the more serious option, which we stop this program. We make this program a paid program. And we talked about like $1,000 dashboard or something like that, and so forth. And I don't know. So again, I mean, some of this is like raw. So for now, it's free. The other stuff that we have, challenges with are matching these projects with the consultants. So there was a healthy debate on this last time as well. Let's go back to I think it's on our own page, right? Oh shoot, no, it isn't. So if you go to realpowerbi.com, this matching, and again, on paper it seems so easy, right? I mean, look at this visual. It's like, oh yeah, that's all we do. But if you think about the logistics between this matching, it's quite it's involved, right? So the discussion that we had was that so what happens is that sometimes we match projects, and again, for the most part, it turns out great. We've had amazing results. I've talked about that, but not all the time. Sometimes we find that people didn't quite convey accurate information when they submitted it. So yeah, we talked to them and they're like, what? This is not even like a Power BI project. I don't know what you're talking about, right? I mean, we've had those. And of course, then we've had people who's like, they just wouldn't respond. That's can be a little frustrating. It's like, dude, you submitted this thing. I'm trying to reach out to you. I'm trying to help you. And they just don't respond. We've tried to change our messaging a little bit to kind of emphasize to people that, hey, trust me, we will reach out to selected projects, but if you're not responsive, then we won't be able to help you. We'll have to move on to other projects. So sometimes they can be these dead ends, and they can be frustrating. And so, of course, in one extreme case, we matched a professional with one project, and it didn't work out. And the second project didn't work out, and I think the third one kind of worked out. But again, right? I mean, it can take time. It can be frustrating. So the debate was that what can we do to eliminate that? Now the funny thing is, and this came from one of our members, was that what they said was that if you think about it, that whole process isn't different than real life. And I love that. So of course, we call this Real Power BI. I want these folks, the ones who are in the consultant program, to also go through a realistic experience. And the reality is that as a consultant, man, you're gonna get into a lot of dead ends, right? So we always say that getting business, getting new clients is like planting seeds. You don't know which ones are gonna sprout, so you got to keep planting. And you're gonna talk to people, and it's gonna sound really promising, and then it's gonna go away. You're gonna and then something is gonna come out of the blue, and so forth, right? So it is problematic, but what I kind of got was that in a way that's a great learning experience for the consultants. Now, of course, they don't always see it that way because when they're stuck in that frustration mode, it is frustrating. But yeah, I mean, looking at it from a high level, I do feel that this is a great learning experience for them to go through that. That yep, I talked to it and be able to screen out and frankly be able to do it quickly. It's like yep, I talked to the person and it's not going to go. Or of course the counter one where I say that well they asked for A, and let's say A isn't a good idea. Well, you got a counter. You could say, well, A isn't a good idea, but I can help you with B. Give them a counter, and in a way, getting sale is about, so that part is important. So it's a little bit messy, but we feel that it reflects real life. So this one, for now, we're not planning to touch. And the last one, of course, I'll mention here is that this challenge that I talked about, that step one for Power BI professionals in our consultant program is to niche down. And apparently I have this problem where I can't niche down. Now, of course, right, so I said that, I have all these people who are focused on renewable energy, mining, coffee industry, third-party logistics, warehousing, and on, service center, call center. Right? So we have all of these different professionals, so I can't narrow down, and I have to be generic. Well, that's not 100% true because the members here is a small group. Maybe we can, when people submit projects, we can have them pick one of those. And we can say, hey, if you're in the mining industry or this, right? So again, it's not going to be as perfect as just being able to zero in on one thing. For example, you saw Greg, he's like coffee industry, right? Yay, right? So you can't get that specific, but it can be kind of a choice of options. Could that be more powerful? Could that be more interesting? Maybe, Yeah. So that's that's kind of it. So yeah, folks, hopefully you enjoyed that. Again, kind of behind the scenes look. I definitely enjoyed talking about it because again, the funny thing is, to teach is to learn twice, and I'm definitely going to do more of this. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this on LinkedIn. That's what I'm planning. And yeah, so if you enjoyed this, or if you want to see kind of behind the scenes how the business is built, how uh, and again, for me, like life and work, they're not two different worlds. So I often share kind of what's going on in my life and that sort of stuff, and that's there are lessons in all of that, and hopefully that helps somebody. As I always like to think that, hey, if that helps one person out there, then my job is done. All right, cool. Hey, I want to shout out to Michael, who is on the call with us from Learn Power BI family. Whew. All right, Robert. Gosh, what did you think? Did you? Hey, so of course Robert has been involved. He's part of the team Avi, and he's kind of helping us with Real Power BI. So Robert, did you learn something new that you didn't know about the Real Power BI program?
I would say, interestingly, most of them are new.
Yeah,
So when you're comparing, both scenarios are new.
yeah,
But it's pretty interesting, yes.
yeah. All right, cool, mate. So, well, I didn't see any questions. I know this was like a bit of a different topic, but yeah. Anything on your mind, Robert? I don't know. You can ask questions, or Michael.
Yeah, hi, VM. I haven't been into any of your conference calls before, so I've just been offered a big contract in the Middle East, and it's
Awesome.
a bit beyond me for the what they're looking for. Well, actually, I write reports using a different tool set,
Yeah,
and I want to start using Power BI. So it was of interest that I could link up with a consultant,
yeah.
so that's best done through your website, is it?
That's a great idea. So, of course, so tell me a bit about your background.
So I work in the automotive industry,
Mm-hmm.
and there's one company who kind of has a monopoly on the market there,
Really?
and I've worked with them for a long time.
Yeah.
And they have a legacy reporting tool,
Mm-hmm.
which is coming to the end of life now,
Yeah.
and they want to start using Power BI. So I work quite a lot with this company writing reports, not in Power BI,
Yeah.
and now I've just started using Power BI, or my company has, and
Yeah.
so we work for the latest project is with BMW in the Middle East. So they want us to start writing some reports for them.
Oh, man,
And
I'm like jazzed. This is so awesome. So wait, are
so
you part of like a consulting company who's helping their
yes,
clients?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Great. 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 But you just need some help, right? Um, and folks, by the way, this is where niche down is important. And again, I mean, I didn't even if I get start talking about the evolution of the Power BI consulting program, man, that's gonna take hours, if not days. But one of the things that happened, so the funny thing is, I talked about the steps and how step one is niche down. But guess what? Not too long ago, we didn't have those steps in there. Now, yeah, now I feel, of course, I'm like, what? How are we even running it? And we didn't have the steps in there, and we didn't have this thing about niching down, and where it started was that I was trying to help my students, and of course I have this thing where I say that I would walk over hot coals for them, which is true actually. I do go to great lengths to kind of help members in our community and so forth. Um, but I was struggling to figure out how to help them, and because I didn't know what they were about, right? So now of course we've changed a lot of that. So I feel I have the exact right person for you, mate. It's just uncanny how that connection. I mean, this has to be a match made in heaven. So the person is Mateus, and he is specifically focused on automotive industry. He has spent a significant amount of time in the automotive industry. So you can see Volkswagen 4 years there, and before that there, and I don't know. Yeah, so he's definitely going to be really good. So with the automotive
Okay.
industry, are you looking at specific data sets? What kind of data sets are you looking at or looking to start with when you start working with this
So
company?
what it is the we want to produce different dashboards. So BMW in the Middle East engaged a company and it didn't work out.
Yeah,
So because we've done other work for them, they've asked if we could take it over and sort it
yeah,
out.
boy, yeah. So
So
yeah, I
we've
mean, if you
created our own. We're creating our own
yeah.
SQL database,
Yeah.
which
So yeah,
summarizes
so
all that
Mateus is
information.
really good. Yeah, I mean, he I remember his last dashboard presentation, and it was funny. So we do usually like we do it on here, and he was last, right? He was the one going last, but yeah, he just blew everybody away. It's like whoa, man. He does some cool stuff. So terrific. So Michael, maybe you can just in
Yes,
the
I'd like to. Yeah.
chat
So
window. I'll say hello to you, and you can pop in your email address, and I can introduce you over email.
okay, I'll give you my personal email here.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Yeah. Okay, cool. So hey, Thomas is saying, do download links still work? I'm unable to access the Ultimate Calendar. So Thomas, reach out to us. Yeah, download links should work, but if you're having a problem, let's definitely let us know. So just send us an email at avi@avising.com. Maybe include some screenshots to like show us like what's going on, and then we can help you. Jen, always good to see you around. All right, Michael. Hey, I think that's as I said. I mean, once you started talking about your focus, I was like, wow, you know. So we'll connect you up, and yeah, hopefully
Perfect.
hear from you how things go, and I know they're gonna go great. All right.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that.
Terrific. Okay,
Speak
Matthias has
soon.
something to report. He's saying he's got a huge contract in sight with a German automotive company. Hey, yeah, Matthias. So yeah, you guys can tag team. So Matthias, you know what? I'll for all your automotive Power BI needs. Yeah, reach out to Matthias Amadio. All right, guys, we will see you next time.